Hi, good morning, everyone. It's Michelle Klassen again on Soul Treats. Today is Saturday, and I am based in Vancouver, Canada. And today I am so looking forward to the discussion that's going to be happening. And it's with Lou Martin and Ingrid H. Turner. It's about Stay Awake in the Awakening. So I'm so excited about this thing. I'm just going to kind of jump into it. So I'm going to put on the intro. It's about 3 minutes long. If you don't mind sharing this out, I would love for this to be shared out. So many people need to hear about this. So many people need to hear Ingrid and Lou speak. Super important in people's lives right now. And once again, thank you for being here. And here we go.
Oh, hi, my beautiful Lou.
Hey, sweetheart. Great to be here with you.
Great to be here with you.
We got the matching colors thing going on again.
Do we?
Yes, we're both wearing white, as far as I can see.
Yes, but yes, we are.
Is that close?
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
Hey.
That was a trick question.
I'm a little slow today. I'm
No,
sorry.
you're fine. You're fine. So great. Let's rock on.
Let's
It's great.
rock on. All right. I think we should do like introductions, but first, I really want to especially thank Michelle Clausen with Soul Treats for hosting us. So if and people don't know that you and I have done this a lot in the past, and we get to do it on the Soul Treats platform, and that made me feel really excited to have this like true
Yes, me
partnership
too.
form and come together. So
Yes.
I'm so happy to be here with you and see your face. Why
Thank
don't
you.
you kick off and introduce yourself first?
Sure. So I love this lady. I'm always thrilled to come anytime she calls me, and it's a joy to be here. So I've been channeling and working with spirit for 35 years. I had an awakening of my Kundalini in meditation in 1987. I've never been the same since, and I feel like everything has been divine timing. Getting ready for this year. The last 2 years have been a big acceleration. I think we're all stepping into a very powerful, important, and expanding and exciting time. But it is going to challenge us to be extremely authentic and to live from our hearts. So that's my pitch for today.
Oh my God. That's great. I love that. That lit me up. Thank you, Lou. I love you so much. And I love getting to connect and be a part of anything with you because you are my soul brother. And I'm Ingrid H. Turner. And similar to Lou, I had an awakening experience that left me not the same, took a hard right turn. I'm a channel, I'm a psychic medium, I'm a teacher, and I show up every day to help people move from fear to love. From fear to love. That is the essence of what I'm here for on this planet. And I knew this in the spring of 2020 when we popped into a new paradigm and we began the process of the planetary awakening. And I went, oh, that's why I was born, is to show up and move myself from fear to love and help others move from fear to love. And Lou, you couldn't have said it better. What we're here to talk about today, stay awake during the awakening. We've got 2 years behind us of intensity on this planet. We've been dealing with not just the physical in the world stuff that's been going on, crazy politics, pandemic, all the things. But this is the result. These are just symptomatic of an incredibly intense shifting of energy. We are in the new earth, but it's a transition and it's bumpy. And so I know a lot of us, probably all of us here today, had this awakening, woke up, felt the energy of the planet shift. To me, it was like the whole planet moved into a new energy. It was incredible. But we're tired. Right? We're tired. It's been 2 years. How much more of this do we have to go? And the answer is the new earth is going to arrive on the backs of the individual. It is truly up to the individual to keep the discipline and the faith and keep moving every single day from fear to love. And so we are here to support you in that effort as we continue to go through this process of this incredible planetary awakening.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, honey. Yeah. Well, that was brilliant as always. I was mentioning my day and this week. So I had an experience I never had before in this life, which is I lost somebody to suicide that I was close to. Yes.
This recently?
And today was the funeral.
Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. That is
Well, thank
really
you.
hard.
Thank you. Thank you. But as you're saying, it's that has been the overlighting energy of this week. But this is a beautiful young woman. Her name is Allison Kingston, and she was a healer, and she was a giver, and she was the life of the party. And I was very close to her mom. I wasn't as close to Allison as I am to her mom, Shirley. But yeah, the whole town came out, little Bandon, and it was just a profoundly powerful, amazing, outpouring of grief and love and support. And it really rocks you when something like this happens. And at the same time, it's these themes that we're talking about, which is staying awake. And so, okay, your faith is good now. How about now? Clear about your purpose now, but what about now? And, it's physically, emotionally, I've just been a wreck for a few days here. And today is the most normal I've been. And it was great to see old and new friends and talk about Allison and hear the eulogies. Her brother, who's in the States, was especially moving. He recorded a message and he broke into tears several times talking about his love for her and his grief over losing her and all of this. So, that is now a part of my life story and my experience of being here in Ireland and being close to Allison and her mom and her family. And, you try to hold that in your heart and carry it with you. And you ask for it to make you a better person, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So on that note, we are here for anybody who's struggling right now, who's exhausted, who's losing sight of the light, who is feeling hearts dropping, having a hard time. That's what me and Lou are here for. And on our own pages and here right now today. It's just to help you reconnect with that light inside you and help you move from fear to love, from sadness to love, because we don't need to lose ourselves in this. That's why we have community.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. And I think beautiful. And I think and thanks everyone for your condolences. I think I've said this for 2 years. You've heard me say this before. We're going to need each other more than we ever have before, because as you've said about the new earth and my teachers, say the same, fifth dimension and these shifts in consciousness and perspective from the head to the heart, this is a journey from masculine to the feminine. Masculine is one in harmony and balance and love and respect. This shift that we're all going through inside of ourselves, this is what's now reflecting in the outer world more quickly, isn't it?
Yes. Everything. It's like I get this weaving in and out visual when you say that. Hey, I love that you said move from head to heart. I'd like us all to take a moment and do that, because most of us are living in our head most of the time. So everybody who's watching now, I want you to take a minute, and me and Lou will do this with you. And I want you to pay attention to the energy in your head. Can you feel the energy in your head? Is it swirling? Are there lots of thoughts? Is it buzzing? And let's all take a deep breath together. And with the exhale, let's consciously move the energy from our head down into our heart. And let's just take another breath and really solidify that energy in our heart. Give the head a break. Things are different now. We are designed to initiate from the heart and follow through with the mind. But we've been conditioned to initiate with the mind. And we're not going to get away with that anymore. If we try and continue to live like that, going from the mind in that mental place, we're going to lose the plot. We're going to slip into fear, because it's so seductive right now. It's so seductive.
Yeah.
But when you take the moment,
Your necklace is bouncing against your microphone and it's making
annoying
noises.
Thank you for letting me know.
Yes, I'm sure you heard it. Yeah, there you go. Just now. Yeah, excellent.
There we go. Make it better.
Yes.
Right.
Now you're perfect. Thank you.
Now it's perfect.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Oh, what was I saying? When we head to the heart and move from the heart and execute with the mind, we stay in love even through the bumpiness, even through the rides, the bumpy rides. We got this. We got you.
Yeah. Beautiful.
So how did that feel? I want to hear some feedback from our listeners. How did that feel, moving from the head to the heart? Do you notice a difference? Do you feel calmer? Do you feel more centered? Let us know. Yeah.
And you're talking about this 2-year period here, and it's like grief, tends to be a thing that people really don't want to feel and deny feeling and make a lot of excuses not to feel. And I certainly relate to that programming, in my life. But it's great to be with people who have that, intuitive, compassionate, open-hearted energy, because we're going to need to process some big changes, some big losses, some big letting goes. I think in life.
Yeah. Yeah. Grief is a direct result of love. We grieve because we love.
Yeah,
And the gift of the intensity of these times, I feel like, is it's triggering our grief. And like you said, Lou, there's a tendency to stuff that down, not deal with that. And we almost have no choice but to go in and let ourselves feel it. And that I would bring that back around to getting caught in the mind. If we intellectualize our grief, we can't move through it. We have
yeah,
to go into the grief and feel it in the body, and then we can truly move through it. And that kind of thing that is what is going to be moving us along energetically as a collective, as a
yeah,
planet.
yeah. There's a great line. I love the novelist Haruki Murakami. There's a name I don't get to say every day. He did. I haven't read a lot of his books, but I read some of his novels, and he has a quote saying, "You're a different person after the storm. That's what the
Yeah.
storm is for." You know that one?
Yes.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah.
Beautiful.
And it is work, and it does take courage, and you do have to really care, and
Mhm.
about yourself, about what's happening. Um, it just standing there next to the hearse today, and the father who I
Mm.
just met for the first time, and the men carrying the coffin on their shoulders, into the hearse right in front of me, and dad, needing some support and some help to be able to do that. He was not a strong man at this point in his life. Anyway, it was so moving, that the tears finally started to come after everything today.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
it's just that's the cost of loving is it breaks our heart open.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Hmm.
I found something very weird when you go deeply into your grief. Um, I did that thing where I stuffed my grief for many, 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 many years. I lost my father when I was a child. And so when
Right.
you're 12, you don't have the tools to process something like that. And so
Sure.
I didn't, I didn't process it at all. And it
Yeah.
led to that stuffing, avoiding, running away, flailing around that grief prevented my heart from opening,
Sure.
because nobody has the tools, and it's hard to, nobody even at that time, like, we don't live, we're just now coming into a world where we are teaching our children effectively how to navigate something like that. That
Sure.
simply wasn't a thing when I was a
Sure.
child. And that's okay. That's no blame on anybody.
No.
But it meant that I flailed and struggled through life. Get like it, and I ended up drinking too much, similar
Sure.
to your story, tangled with addiction, trying
Yeah.
to stuff that grief, get away from it. Oh my God, oh my God. Had a spiritual awakening, still had the grief to deal with.
Sure.
And I don't know
Sure.
if I would use the word deal with, but needed to be expressed. So finally, after I started on my own healing journey, I was able to start to sink into the grief. And I have this clear memory of my going into my grief and feeling the incredible sadness from the loss I had experienced as
Yeah.
a child 20 years
Yeah.
later,
Yeah.
and moving into it down deeper. And it was really hard and intense. And you start to think, how am I ever going to, like, how can I do this? Like, how can I handle this?
Sure.
And then I stayed with it just long enough where I popped through the grief. And do you know what I found at the bottom of my grief? I found bliss. I found bliss, feeling the grief, finally feeling the grief. It's exactly what happened, what you talk about. It broke my heart open. And my
Yeah.
whole body was filled with what I can only describe as like a nirvana sensation.
Yeah.
Everything got bright and gold, and I felt this incredible bliss. And I
Yeah.
was just almost floating. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that worked out. Now, I still have layers that I move
Sure.
through, but when the grief comes up or is triggered by a world event or is triggered by the loss of a loved one, like, I feel like for you, Lou, the loss of your friend is devastating. in itself, but grief is also cumulative, and the loss of your friend helps you unearth grief. Like, I know you lost your father when you were young as well. And so
Yes.
and that's something that we don't know how to deal with. And so it unearths that and helps us peel it back a layer and break us open that
Yeah.
much more.
Yeah, honey. Yeah. No, that's beautiful. I have the same experience. I started,
Yeah.
I like the phrase from Abraham. She says, it's right where you left it.
Yes.
You know?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we think, oh, this doesn't matter, and I'll push that away and I'll pretend that's not important. Yeah. And you learn there is no such thing as denial. Whatever you haven't acknowledged, surrendered, and released is right where you left it. And so, when whatever it is that gives us the willingness to surrender into that deeper place, then yeah, you come out the other side and you're healed and you're back in a place of hope and innocence and unconditional love, and peace.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh
So
my
it's
gosh.
worth the effort. Yeah, it's worth the effort, but you have to experience it to understand it.
Yeah. That denial really is delaying, it's not denial, it's delaying. But the delay causes us so much suffering. And it's at the end of our rope that we find, usually most humans, it's at the end of our rope that we finally surrender because we are just so sick and exhausted of our own bullshit.
Right.
That's when we surrender and we move through these experiences. And I love how you said it's right where you left it. Or Abraham Hicks said it's right where you left it. And also, I want to say this, like, let's see, how do I bring this through? It's like we can get very competitive with ourselves in our healing work and our spiritual work. It's like spiritual ego, right? Who's not susceptible to that? It's like, I'm on my healing journey. And we can get caught in this, like, oh God, I'm not doing enough. I'm not feeling my grief. I'm not good enough, And I just want to say, if you're having any of those feelings or thoughts, or like listening to the conversation with me and Lou, like, chill, love yourself more. This isn't a race. We get to the place where we can feel our grief and our feelings and all of that when we get there. Forcing it is not actually helpful. You're intellectualizing it, right? So just breathe and know that the most important piece for all humans is the commitment to move through it. Like, you make the commitment and the doors will open for you, and you just move one step at a time as it's shown to you.
Yeah. Yeah, beautiful. Oh, absolutely beautiful. It comes back to what you were saying earlier, and people are sharing their stories of grief and the anniversaries of losing loved ones and things like that. So thanks everyone for stepping up to this challenging theme here today. Yes, this will be exciting. Lou and Ingrid, awakening, grief. Yes. But it's my perception and belief about the journey over the next chapter on the planet here that we're touching on today, staying awake, is that it is just going to be a reflection more and more of what is predominantly inside of each of us. And, the phrase that I work with is integration, to make your peace with it, to forgive it, to accept it, to try to understand it, to stop projecting it onto other people, to take responsibility for it, these kinds of important steps. Then, you can, see the glass clearly at that point. And what begins to come back to you is really beautiful, really beautiful.
It's true.
Yeah.
Living in integrity, which is not about right or wrong out there. It's about aligned in here.
Yeah.
Being true to yourself, being authentic. And you cannot find your personal integrity if you're fighting your shadow, if you're fighting your demons, if you're taking your BS too seriously. You have to learn how to, I love that, integrate it and love yourself more. Love all of it.
Yes.
Be good with all of it.
Yeah. 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 If we can accept ourselves, and that's what God has given us, each of us, to do, to accept who we are, then we can learn to respect and to love who we are. And then we can discover who we can be, what's possible for us.
Yeah.
But if we're always coming from this place of inadequacy and incompleteness, and trying to cover that up or cover that over, not going to work.
No. I'm reminded of this incredible vision I had one time. It was summertime. God, I miss summer. I was just telling Michelle before we got on, like, I don't like the winter. I want to be warm. But
Yes, dear.
I was outside, and I leaned back in the chair I was sitting in. I looked up at the sky, and my spirit guide, his name is Mons. He showed me this it was like he was there in the sky, massive, right? It was such a cool thing. And he threw down onto me all of these like feathers and bones and sticks and things, and like just rained it down on me. And what he said to me, the profound message was, you are given all the pieces you need in your lifetime to be the best version of you. It is up to you to put the pieces together.
Brilliant.
And what that means is every experience is working in our favor, from birth to death. Every experience has the opportunity to be a transformational tool and help us expand that much further into our highest expression. And if we keep showing up in integrity and with commitment and doing the deeper digging, that means that the expansion is infinite. The potential for our expression is infinite. We never have to arrive or stop growing and expanding. And I personally find that very exciting.
Oh God, yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. Well, part of the story here with Allison is her mom Shirley, and so I had this fire last Christmas. Not this Christmas, but the Christmas before that, and so everything in my life began again, and I got and received a lot of wonderful love and support from Ingrid and many other wonderful beings over the last year to help me to navigate all this. And so grateful for all of that. And one of the things that happened was I received a guitar because I play guitar and sing. And then I received a better guitar, long story short. And when I would go to the markets, I'm in my kitchen studio here 90% of my life, but right out the door, and beneath the church where we had Allison's funeral today, which is also right out my door, is we have the parking lot, and there's the market on Saturday, the farmer's market. So long story short, the guys would invite me to get up and sing some songs every time that they were playing live music. And eventually I got up and did 2 gigs where I played 20 songs each gig. And I'd never done this before in my life. And then the other thing was I met another new friend there who gave me a beautiful guitar, and I've been playing that for the last few months. And he's also recorded some music videos with me, and we're starting to plan on recording my music with him and put it out there at some point. So all that happened just because I walked to the market, and I love the people at the market, and they asked me to get up and play some songs with them. So infinite potential. This is the story that comes to mind. So Shirley runs the market. Allison's mom Shirley runs the market, and if it had not been for Shirley and the market itself and all that, then I wouldn't have had the joy and happiness and freedom and hope and inspiration that I have right now. And people are asking me to their Zoom groups, and I'm doing music for other groups and things like this. So
over Zoom, cool.
Yes. It's opened a whole new little chapter here, and I'm more inspired than I've been in years. So this is exciting.
That makes me so happy. I found myself being really creatively inspired too. I'm writing more poetry than I've written in a lot of years.
I see that.
Posting it all over, doing like videos and stuff. I love that. That's great.
Yes,
you bring up, what you're bringing up about this, telling the story about how you kind of like joyfully stumbled into this new creative chapter of your life, or renewed creative chapter of your life. That's something that we were talking about, moving from the head to the heart earlier. And I feel like I want to give some. We're talking about staying awake during the awakening. One of the concrete things that you can do every day is move from your head to your heart. This is fear. This is love. Moving from fear into love. And then following those impulses, following those like, oh, I feel like doing this. Oh, I feel like doing that. And like living with curiosity. And what you're going to find happens is you start to fall into these situations like Lou is talking about, and things are going to start to open up for you, because humans are here for the novelty and the surprise. We're not really designed to like plan out our whole lives. Like when does that work out for anybody? And if it does, are you happy? We're here to be delighted. And so that spontaneity, but like the impulses, the pulls, like, oh, I want to do this. And trust, if you have the desire, it's a signpost for you. It's not necessarily the be all end all. Going to the market was not the be all end all, but it was a little, I want to go, I want to go check that out and like hang out with those people. And then it starts to pull you along. That's living from love.
Yeah.
That is going to help you stay in an awakened state. Like you got it when we first, you're tired. This is going to help you stay awake and stay enlivened. It's like, cosmic caffeine following your heart space. It's going to keep you excited and in your heart and in love. And remember, the work moving the planet from into this new earth seems like a really big job. Like, how the hell are we going to do that? And you're not going to do that. You're going to move yourself into love. And when you do that, your impact on people ripples out to thousands. When Lou is in his passionate state of creativity and he is loving what he's doing and his aura is expanding, he is positively impacting every person who he comes into contact with and expanding their auras, helping them move into love. And they in turn are impacting all the people that they are connecting with. And it ripples out to an exponential amount of people when you stay in your authentic core, when you stay in your heart and move yourself from fear to love and follow those juicy little impulses. We talk ourselves out of it all the time. It's like, what's the right thing to do? The right thing to do is what your heart wants to do. To hell with the rest of it.
Sure, honey. Yeah. Brilliant. I'm with you, kid. The basis for life is freedom. The purpose of life is joy. Yeah. And I mean, you said one of my favorite words, which is passion, and that's, you care, we started talking about grief and loss. And that shows, as you said, how much we do care about each other, how much we do care about what's happening. Talking about, politics just for a moment here, how much we care about the truth, how much we care about our freedoms, how much we care about integrity, how much we care about being able to trust people that want power and authority over our lives. These are profoundly important issues right now. And if you don't, what's the line? God says, be hot or be cold, but don't be lukewarm, because I spit you out. You got to pick the side. Yeah.
But you don't have to pick the sides that are just available in front of you. You don't have to pick left or the right. Pick what's right for you, what's right in your heart, what feels right in the moment. And the other thing, truth expands on itself. When you follow your truth, it expands, like it multiplies. It grows and shifts organically. Elaine, so true. Trust the heart and follow it. Yes. And I'm curious, I want to hear, what is it that, people who are listening now, what is it that your heart is niggling at you about? Maybe that you haven't listened to yet. You've kind of been talking to yourself out. What is that? Because I want to affirm for you. We want to affirm for you. Just take a step in that direction. Take a step in that direction. Or if you have been following your heart, if you've had a niggle and be like, oh, okay, I do want to do that. And I'm giving it a try. How's it feeling? How is it feeling to you? Let us know. Let us support you.
Sure. And I love what you were saying here, honey, about, we don't have to see it in black and white, or play by anyone else's definitions. I mean, I don't want to make others wrong so I get to feel right.
Right. It's not about that. It's staying in integrity and taking a stand is not about the other person. It's about you. It's about what feels totally right in your being, in your body, and being open to the possibility of
seeing things differently.
Thank you. One of the things that we do, one of the symptoms of shutting ourselves down, like putting ourselves back to sleep during this awakening process, is mentally locking yourself down. Because we are being bombarded with a lot of fear and divisiveness, it's very easy to slip into that fear and divisiveness, but telling yourself that you're being an ultra spiritual person. You know what I mean? Or you are on the right side and they are wrong. And it's very human to do that. It's very human. And it takes practice and intention. And like we said earlier, commitment to be okay, I'm just going to get a little bit mentally stretchy. I'm going to listen to this other person say things that are what, that go completely against what I have decided is my stand. And I'm just going to open up a little bit of space for it. I don't have to take it on board. I don't have to make it question my whole identity, but I need to be able to practice letting some stuff in and allowing my understanding of what is true expand. Because if we don't do that, then we are just operating in the same energy as what we are not, as that same authoritarian energy as we are resisting.
Yeah,
right?
completely. Bob Dylan has a line about I've become my enemy in the instant that I preach.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah,
Thank you, Bobby boy.
Yes, exactly. I mean, it's have an opinion, have a perspective, have a belief,
Bring it out there.
Yeah, bring it out, absolutely, because the world needs to hear your perspective and your belief.
Totally.
But don't make others your enemy or wrong, but just because you disagree with what they understand or what they believe.
Yeah, the moment we need to make somebody else wrong, we've entered into a fear state.
Yeah.
And when you find yourself doing that, like, to be try and be conscious of when your fear brain is getting activated. It's gonna happen because we're in a bumpy period, right?
Sure.
We're bumping around into this energy,
Sure.
and we're coming from a paradigm of fear and scarcity and competition and struggle and climbing the corporate ladder and all that. That's our baseline. It takes commitment and work to move into the heart space, but just to be aware of, like, oh, look, I'm in my fear brain. Like, I will try and notice when I'm feeling judgmental, you know, like if I'm judging something, like, oh, there's my fear brain. No problem. Drop it down to the heart. How do I, okay, let's open up space for that. Or when I'm feeling divisive, or I want to make somebody else wrong, or I'm getting defensive, all of that stuff. It's just the very understandable fear cropping up because we're bombarded with it right now. So staying awake during the awakening means commitment. It also means consistency. And there's a word I'm looking for, and I can't think what it is, but
Okay. No, that's good. That was all good. I mean, what comes to me, hon, is emotional integrity and compassion.
Thank you.
I love it, right? Sure.
Yes.
So yeah, absolutely. I mean, so fear and judgment, like Genesis, one of my favorite groups, they have a lyric that says, "You hate what you fear, and you fear what you don't understand."
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
So like we're saying, and you and I both know into the mystic our whole lives here practically, the heart knows what the mind struggles to believe, as it gets to say from time to time. And so
I love that. I love
thank
that.
you.
So I need to get a t-shirt.
Yes, I'm ready for that. So like we know, hon, you and I have spiritual practices and devotional practices that we do every day to surrender the mind to the heart, to open the heart, to forgive and release, to bless and be unconditional, to come back to a state of oneness and wholeness and transcendent integrity, that, and I'll lose that connection, many times, and find myself shouting at the screen, etc., or whatever, and I'm like, Lou, you're shouting at the screen again, my friend.
And back to the heart.
Yeah. Is that where you want to hang out? Is that the future you want to sign up for?
Right.
So it is, as you say, there's many opportunities to forget and to remember.
Yeah, there are, and we're going to go through all of it all day long. And it's just a practice. It's just a practice. Be gentle with yourself and keep moving yourself back into that heart, back to that compassion, back into the understanding that is wordless. It doesn't need words. It doesn't need description. It's just heart space. And I love you brought up devotional practices. I mean, I am pretty fanatical about a morning spiritual practice. People who, you and I taught together, right? So we both harped on our students. It's like, you have to put together a morning practice. And it doesn't have to be like 3 hours long. It can literally be 5 minutes. But one of my students, Yvonne, she said, wake up with God. And I just grabbed that and coined that, because that's it. If you just carve out some space to wake up with God, to wake up with spirit, you have the opportunity to start your day with love. To start your day in that space. And then as you bounce into fear, into the mind, it is easier to go, oh yeah, that's right. My baseline today is love, and drop back down to that compassion. If you find yourself looking at somebody crossing the street and you're feeling slightly annoyed and you decide their boots are stupid, and you go into this little judgment stream about it, you can be like, oh yeah, I don't have to do that. Boom, back into the heart. Cool boots.
Yes. No, it's brilliant, honey. I love what you're saying. And wake up with God, 5 minutes. The way I would say it is the longer, the deeper, and the more sincerely you can give yourself that time and space to surrender yourself back into God's will and be available for that to guide you and to speak, live, and work through you. The easier, the simpler, the clearer, the cleaner. And, the other part of it is divine feminine, divine masculine, that the feminine is all about the emotions and all about the spirit. and the masculine is this will and this appearance of things in the body. To my mind, that's the way my guides put it to me.
Yeah.
So it's like, be grounded, be rooted, be earthed, be centered, be surrendered into that, and then take your inspiration, your activities from that, and keep coming back to that, keep reintegrating that throughout the day.
Yeah. Yes. I agree. Elaine, this is a great comment. Think on the journey of deeper and deeper awakening. To be non-judgmental is the hardest thing, also because it was all our training in the 3D world. That's true. But I also think that with judgmentalism, it's something that we don't have a lot of control over. I think partly, absolutely, because of conditioning, like that plays a big part. But there's also like a survival piece to it.
Sure.
It kind of comes from this part of our brain that is focused on survival, where we're always scanning our environment and looking for danger. And if we see something that is not a match, or an energetic match is a little off, our brain will create stories to justify that, because we don't really trust ourselves anymore. And so we weave these stories of like, well, you just got stupid boots, but really it's about like, oh, that's just an energetic no. That's just not for me. It's just an instinctual no. But I think both things definitely play a role, Elaine, is that training, that conditioning, along with that survival piece.
Yeah, honey. Yeah, no, I feel you. It's reacting versus responding is the way my guides say it, right? And discernment versus judgment, which is, so we're reacting and judging out of fear. And because we have a drama going on in our head, they don't like me, I'm not good enough, there isn't enough, God's forgotten me, whatever. Yeah, okay, you're in your war inside your head, good luck with that. Whereas you go, oh, this feels terrible all of a sudden, I want to feel good about my future and my life.
Right.
Let's come back. Forgive, accept, release, this kind of energy.
Yeah, gorgeous. Yeah, I love that, talking about the drama in your head. I mean, apparently there are people in the world, have you seen this like going around a while ago, where like there are people who don't have dialogue in their head? Their thoughts aren't a dialogue? Yes,
they have non-duality going on, or they have deep gaps in their consciousness without the voice in the head.
Well, no, it's like people, the way they think is like maybe in pictures, or just like in feelings.
No, I'm not
familiar. And other people have like a running dialogue in their head.
Yeah, I'm one of those. Yeah,
I'm one of those too. I have this running dialogue. So Shay, my partner, doesn't have running dialogue. He has the other kind of thinking, where he's just there and he's got like maybe some pictures and some impressions and some emotions, but it's not turning into words in a conversation. And to me, like, that conversation is the drama in my head. It's like a whole saga, man.
Sure. Yeah, the story is what I call it.
Yeah, that's what I call it too. The story. And the story is so seductive, because usually what we do is the story is inspired by a kernel of truth. And then we just turn it into a whole drama, like you say. And then we do something really crazy. And then we start taking action based on the incredible cinematic license we've taken with one little tiny piece of truth. And that is how we make a mess of our lives.
Well, yes. But it's brilliant, hun. I mean, Shay, wow, I want to chat with him about that. I have not heard that before from anyone.
Well, evidently it's like 50%, 50-50. Many people do not have that dialogue, that verbal dialogue like we do. That they just think really differently.
I have never heard this before.
I saw it. I saw a video and I was like, that cute. What? Google.
Yeah. Yeah. But you're reminding me of something Lazarus talks about, which is how we make things real, and what you just described. So you decide to believe something, you put your energy behind that belief, and then you start expecting and looking for that in your experience.
And creating it for yourself.
Of course, that's how it's created, you see. Whereas if you go, this feels crazy, or this is not what I want, or this is contrary to what I've asked God to help me to create today. So, you slow down, you back it up. But like you're saying, to me, the mind is a computer, and it'll garbage in, garbage out, joy in, joy out. It'll give you anything you put, any punch card you put in mind, it'll start to put that out.
Totally.
So again, the heart is our connection to all that is. You know this as well as anyone, my dear friend. And so when our hearts are open and joyous and loving and excited and inspired, as yours is so very often, bless you, then ideas and poetry and inspiration and
Mhm.
workshops and all are pouring through you.
Yeah.
And we're all blessed by that.
Yes.
It's just being clear what we really want to represent in our lives.
Yeah. Clarity. Yes, clarity is so important. And you don't get clarity from the head ever because it's a drama. You get it from the heart. You get it from
Yeah.
the heart. There was something you
Yeah.
brought up that I was going to say, and I think I lost it, but let me see if I can get it back. I had it. You'll have to come back later.
Sure. But I mean, if we create out of love, if we
Yeah.
create with the intention of loving, I mean, again, my friend's funeral and the whole town and this, heartbreaking experience of her suicide and being so deeply loved and a young woman and all the rest of it, it just, it really
Yeah.
rocks you. It
Yeah, it
really
does.
shakes you to the core. It's not something you just push past. And that's the gift of it. It's,
Mhm.
my guides have said, Ingrid, out of everything that happens to us in life, birth and death are the most spiritually influenced to impact us around love and learning about love.
Mm.
So
Mhm.
Allison gave me and
Mhm.
everyone a huge gift around learning more about love over
Mhm.
this last week.
Mhm.
And as I say, it's really put me on the back foot, which is
Yeah.
great because I need to sit with this and I need to open my heart to this and feel my way into what this means in my life.
Yeah. Spirit said to me one time, Spirit explained to me that sometimes people's greatest contribution to the planet is the moment of their death, the moment and the
Sure,
time of their death, or one
sure.
of their greatest contributions.
Yeah,
Sometimes when the people die out of time or in a really intense and shocking way, like
yeah,
suicide or very suddenly,
yeah,
they create a ultimately very positive, although difficult, impact on those around them that has the potential to awaken everybody around them,
yeah,
everybody in their
yeah,
sphere. And that
yeah,
feels very much like your friend
yeah,
Allison. That was
yeah,
one of her prerogatives in
yeah,
this lifetime.
yeah, yeah,
And I was going to, there's something I want to circle back with. You were
yeah,
talking about
honey.
the mind and what you feed the mind is what comes out. That's
Yeah,
another like kind of concrete takeaway I want to give to you guys who are all jumping on and listening and participating in this conversation with me and Lou is
yeah,
you hear a lot the term mindset, right? So be conscious about what you're feeding your mind with and during the day. So we've covered, spiritual practice, and we've covered moving from the head to the heart, that very simple dropping the energy exercise, leading with the heart, following those impulses, having the courage to follow those impulses. But, the mind is going to be a part of our experience. We don't want to lead with the mind, but it is going to be a part of our experience. So something I've personally been really working on is my social media intake. I've noticed that I avoid myself by mindlessly scrolling. It's kind of my latest light bottle of wine in the evening. It's like, oh, that got replaced.
yeah. I don't
So
know
I'm
what you're
really
talking
working
about,
on.
Ingrid.
I
Never
am.
heard of it.
I'm
Yeah,
no right.
you're the only
I'm
one.
really, really working on like in the morning, not turning my phone on first thing,
Yeah,
and giving
yeah,
myself like an hour in the evening before bed. Sometimes I rock it, and then I have an
yeah,
amazing day.
yeah, yeah.
Sometimes I don't, and I still
Sure,
have a good day, but it's not
sure.
amazing. Like if I
Yeah,
and I'm also really conscious of. I'm trying to be more conscious about the kind of content I consume.
yeah, yeah.
So I've developed a nasty TikTok addiction recently. Okay, so
Okay.
what I've done to kind of combat this is I have been really conscious about who I'm following on TikTok, and anybody who's not providing like really concrete value, I'm putting them out of my sphere. Not because it's like, oh, you suck or you're not good enough, just because we have to be really conscious of that. I'm looking at all my social media accounts and being like, who am I consuming? What am I consuming? Is it
Yeah,
fear-based?
yeah, yeah.
Anything that is fear-based, I get plenty of that just in the
Yes.
energies. I don't need that
Sure,
shit.
sure,
And
honey.
so we take that out. And I just think that it's so important to be conscious right now because again, to reiterate, we're 2 years in. We're
Yeah, yeah,
tired. Okay.
yeah,
We need to give ourselves every opportunity and make it as easy on ourselves as we can to
yeah,
stay in connection, to stay
yeah,
awake because
yeah,
you're needed.
yeah,
We're all
yeah,
needed. Like you said, we need each other more than ever before, Lou.
yeah, Yeah.
So
Beautiful.
we have to do our part to take care of ourselves so that we can all come together and take care of each other and get this done.
Yeah. Yes. And enjoy that was gorgeous. Sign me up. Thank you. And enjoy life and enjoy living. I mean, one way I look at, tell me what you think about this. One way I look at this path, the crossroads that we're standing at, as you said, is love and fear, of course, that some people are addicted to fear and addicted to control and the illusion of control, and addicted to patriarchy and status and experts and my expert's bigger than your expert, or my authority figure is more perfect than your authority figure, etc. And it's like, good luck, my friends. I'm over here with the creator, and if he's got anything to say to me, I'm listening. And meanwhile, if I have an opinion about anything, I'll speak up about it. But there has to be that passion.
Yes, I love that. It's okay to take yourself out of the game. The game continues because we all play the game. If you stop playing the game and you follow your passion and you go about, what is it? My best friend, his dad says, just go about your rat killing. Go about your rat killing. Like, just do your thing. Just don't talk to it, just do your thing. But if you just follow, but really what I'm saying is, like you say, if you follow your passion, if you take care of yourself, you step out of the game, the energy is going to start to shift, and we're going to start to see a better world. Yes, it's bumpy, but it's only going to be bumpy for as long as we stay in the habit of fear individually.
Right.
The more of us who get into love more often, it's going to move us much more quickly into this new energy. And what comes to me is the energy of community and unity and love. That's the new paradigm that we're in. And we're coming from a paradigm of scarcity, competition, and like that climbing the corporate ladder is all about that energy. We don't live there anymore. But we came from that. So we're in between these two worlds. We have to make an effort. We have to make an effort. And we have to make an effort so that our children can take us all the way home. So important.
Yeah. We want, beautifully said. I mean, we want to,
thank you, my friend.
We want to live our lives. You're welcome. We want to live our lives in a way that our children can be proud of us.
Yes, we do. We do.
And the next generation has an unbelievable job ahead of them. And yet, we're all these unlimited beings in the illusion of separation, as Spirit calls it. And community, unity, oneness, all of that is gorgeous. What I was going to say is the bridge from fear to love is faith. And
beautiful.
Faith is faith is the evidence of things not seen. So it's like, this is my truth, this is my belief, this is my understanding, this is my calling, this is my mission. I will change it on a dime if I think I'm wrong, and I'll admit where I'm wrong, and I'll ask for help and guidance, but I will keep moving in the direction that feels true for me. Beautiful. Because that's really what I have at the end of the day, is that understanding of what is true. And truth, there's the small t truth that changes every day. What's the weather? It's hot, it's cold, it's night. Right. And there's the capital T truth. Love is always more powerful than fear. That's always true today, tomorrow, and forever. So, we bring those together on that path of unity and community and oneness with faith in ourselves and each other and the universe. Then we have something.
Oh, I love it when you get on a roll, Lou. I do. You just spitting it out for us. I love it. Thank you, my beautiful friend.
You're so welcome.
We have about 5 minutes before we're going to wrap up. I want to make sure to open it up if anybody has any questions, any comments that we want to bring on the screen that we can address, anywhere that you need support. Me and Lou are here. I can say right now, if you're not following Mr. Lou Martin on his Facebook page and in his group, Awakened Spirits Network, thank you. Also, your YouTube page is killer. Lou does a whole bunch of interviews with amazing people, a bunch of amazing humans, and he's got an incredible catalog of juicy material that if you're digging on the conversation that we're having today, you should go check that out on Lou Martin's Facebook page, on his YouTube channel. Am I missing anything? I don't think
Spotify podcast.
He's got a podcast. I didn't know he had a
Yes.
podcast. Oh my
Yes.
God.
Yes. There you go.
Spotify podcast, Awaken Spirits Network, same
Yeah.
name.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
he's got a brand, folks. Awaken Spirits Network.
Yes.
Podcast, YouTube, and Facebook group. Kick
Yes.
ass, my
Yes.
friend.
I'm starting a new one. Do you know this teacher from Hawaii? Her name is Ali Ray.
I do not.
Okay, well, she's lovely. So she's asked me to partner with her. So we're also doing another podcast with the two of us called The View from Love. But thank
Beautiful.
you. Thank you. You did absolutely
Not
great.
bad. Okay, good.
Yeah. I couldn't return the favor. So take it.
Elaine, morning prayer is the best way to start the day. You do that live on your Facebook page on weekdays, right?
Yes, Monday through Thursday.
Those are amazing. Those are like 2 a.m. my time, so I always miss those. But I have caught them occasionally when I've been up really, really late.
Yes.
It's been really cool.
And I pin them at the top of the page if people need to see.
Cool.
Yeah, honey. Thank you. Let's hear your
my spiel.
Your list.
Okay.
You've given my list very nicely. I wish I could do the same for you. Go for it.
So my website, ingridhturner.com. It's the repository of where everything is. I am now. I'm like, I don't know. What do I say about myself? This question is so hard. I do a lot. I'm a channel for spirit. I'm a writer. Follow me on Facebook. You can find me at Facebook, Ingrid H. Turner. I post like my poetry, my channel messages, my events and things that I have coming up. I'm the head teacher at the Bava Spiritual Mission, where we teach people how to connect with their intuition and heal themselves on the deepest levels and take those gifts out into the world. I'm also the architect of the Somatic Renewal Healing Method. And that is about, we touched on that a little bit today as we were talking, it's about learning how to get out of the story and into your emotions, into your stuck energy that's in the body, and free yourself from conditioned unlovability. It's an incredible healing technique that enables you to really get rid of the trauma and the BS and the things that are stuck inside you that are causing you to continue self-sabotaging behaviors, get really triggered, have these stories spinning. If you're feeling stuck in life, Somatic Renewal will help you get unstuck, and it'll help you get unstuck really fast. So that's my jam. And I'm all over social media, freaking every platform. I do not have a podcast, although I have been thinking about a podcast for a long time. It just hasn't quite energetically come together. So, and that's something that I think that we can end with too. I think that's really important. It's like, if you've been thinking and you're setting an intention and it's not quite the right time, you can trust that because the right people will show up. I think, Lou, you talked about starting a podcast for a long time. Right? You're like, oh yeah, I want to do that. And then what happens is you kind of keep that intention alive. You know where your heart is headed, and you allow the energy, new energy, to meet it. In your case, you had a partner show up, to start a new podcast, and you didn't have that until it was ready to show up. And so energy meets energy, and sometimes it ignites, and that's the right time to get started on something.
Sure. Yeah. Beautiful.
Have I ever asked Ken, thank you. Ken, I do Bava Sunday broadcast. On the Bava Spiritual Mission Facebook page, I do a Sunday broadcast every week. We get on with a spiritual message, a channel from spirit. We do some prayer healing. We do some readings, and we have a really good time. Thank you, Ken.
Beautiful. Ingrid, what's the H in Ingrid H. Turner stand for?
It's my middle name. I actually have two middle names, and they both start with H.
Yes, tell the class. Heidi.
And then my other middle name is Hutter, which is my mom's maiden name. So it's Ingrid Heidi Hutter. I have a lot of names.
Well, that's good. I'm glad I asked. I'd forgotten that. See?
Yeah. And the reason it's Ingrid H. Turner, be sure to search for Ingrid H. Turner because I am competing with a senator from Maryland who is named Ingrid Turner.
Aren't we all?
Oh, Michelle. She's like, break up this party now.
Not at all. It's an amazing discussion that you two are going over. I can't thank you enough for being here, and I'm hoping to have you back on again because just some really great information, just some really great tools that people can use as well, in their everyday life. So I really appreciate you both being here so much. And
well, thank you.
And the time difference, Lou, thank you for being here as well.
Sure.
And
pleasure.
Yeah. So
thank you, Michelle, really quickly.
welcome.
Honestly, really, thank you, Michelle, for creating this platform, this sacred container, and inviting me and Lou to come on and fill the space. It felt like I was really just deeply honored to have be asked to come on, and you happened to ask that me and Lou come on. And I don't know if you were aware that Lou and I have been doing this a lot. We haven't for a while now, but Lou and I are this is what we do. We get together, we jam. And we had just been talking about, like, the week before, Lou had said to me, we need to do another live. And I was like, yeah, we need to do another live. And then it's like, you felt that energy and you came out and you're like, I think you two should do a live. And it's like, yes, I think we should.
Yeah, no, I'm not psychic or anything, but no, I didn't know that you've done this in the past. So I kind of tuned in, eh?
You tuned in. You're psychic.
You are psychic. You did tune in, and it's all good.
It's all good. Yeah.
I should just go over, I know we just only have like about 2 minutes, but I should go over how Soul Treats was created so that a lot of people are aware.
Yeah, please.
Because I didn't have the intention of what we're doing now, believe it or not. So I designed it. It was actually just going to be a website where I designed jewelry pieces that my daughter and I would create together. And that was called Soul Treats Energy Infusions. And it was just for her and I to kind of pass some time together because she was becoming a teen. And I still wanted to kind of hold on a little bit before she kind of releases and be like, yeah, mom, get out of here, right? So we started creating bracelets together, and it was kind of nice doing these designs. And then everybody's world kind of changed with our pandemic that happened. And so I thought, I need to help some people out because there's a lot of people sitting in their homes. They're not knowing what to do. So I decided I have a lot of friends who are into alternative medicine, who can really help people, who can teach them about different methods like QHHT. Also, people who are needing readings and needing some guidance, or also needing to hear from a family member that can bring them a little bit more joy in their life. Yeah. I also had a DJ that came on Soul Treats that was 12 years old, and he was just like amazing. So it was just to kind of bring like this joy back and to really help people. And then all of a sudden it just started evolving. And I was like, And then, as we were talking about being creative, Ingrid, just things started, trickling in. Guides are like, boom, try this. I'm like, all right, let's give it a whirl.
That goes right back to what we're talking about with Lou, with just like, you just follow your little impulses and remembering that a desire, like, oh, let's make bracelets together. It's a signpost. It's not the be all and all. It's like, go in this direction and then watch, be delighted as it evolves into what it's meant to be.
Exactly.
That's a gorgeous story. I didn't know that. So
I'm really and that's how Soul Treats was created. And the actual logo in Soul Treats, my daughter and I designed it. I personally love the color black. I know it's not a color, it's a hue, but I was going to have like, the black spiral going. She's like, no, mom, you need to add color. I'm like, all right, well, what are you going to choose? So that's her color, the lighter color, which is her favorite color. And then my black is in there, but that's how Soul Treats was created. And I just love how it's evolved. And I'm so grateful for the followers and what people bring to the page. The followers, they're truly like amazing people and become really great friends as well. But to also have like you and Lou on, speaking and helping people, I mean, that just warms my heart. Like, thank you so much for
welcome. Thank you.
Being here and being present. Yeah. But yeah, that's the story of Soul Treats.
Awesome. Awesome. It's a good story.
Let's write another chapter together.
Hey,
I like
absolutely.
It.
Well, I look forward to hopefully having you both back again on Soul Treats. So thank you everybody for being here.
Thanks,
Happy Saturday from Vancouver, Canada. And we will be on next week. And please follow the Soul Treats page so that you can see the different events that are happening. So bye. Thanks, everyone.
Blessing. Namaste. Love you, Ingrid.
Bye. Love you.
Bye, everyone. Bye, Michelle.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.